And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up, live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal.
We are exploited. We are downtrodden. We are denied not only civil rights, but even human rights. So the only way we're going to get some of this oppression and exploitation away from us or aside from us is come together against the common enemy.
I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value.
Get together, have a few laughs.
Welcome to the Iowa Talk, guys. I'm your host, Theo.
I'm your host, Teepee.
You might hear some raindrops on today's episode, but that's okay. Maybe not.
It's all right. We need the rain out here in Iowa.
Yeah, we do. Maybe TP will get that stuff out of there, but maybe you'll hear a little ambient, beautiful Iowa August rain. Anyway, we're unfortunately not talking about the Shire here in Iowa, which we don't really, for the most part, as a show. But we're certainly not talking about it today.
Well, it sounds like we're bringing this is going to be a
Today, Junior!
Road to War update.
Around the world, road to war. But then again, TP, I believe it was you that came up with the saying for our show, all roads lead to war. So let's start on July 26th, 2023. We're going to bring in a little article from npr.org. Excuse me. July 26, 2023. Michelle Killiman. Soldiers in Niger have announced a coup, imposing a curfew and closing borders in a country that is a key U.S. ally in West Africa. Secretary of State Antony Blinken said he spoke with Niger's President Mohamed Bazoum and said that the U.S., quote, strongly supports him as the democratically elected president of the country, end quote. Kind of tired of all the democratically elected bullshit. I mean, it's whoever does the bidding of the U.S. that's valuable to them, right?
Karzai was democratically elected of President of Afghanistan.
Hamid Karzai, yeah, the guy, I mean, democratically elected by Bush. And,
Yeah.
hey, let's have a vote.
Who wants to be our friend?
Yeah. But but he was probably the single most uniting factor, realistically, against a united Afghanistan. Actually, he was probably the single uniting factor. All the tribes hated him, right?
Karzai?
Yeah.
Oh, well, he was just a really big warlord, and he was the first one that was willing to work with U.S. forces.
Right, so a bunch of tribes were willing to just fight him, too, anyway.
Yeah.
So a bunch of tribes united against him, right?
Well, and I mean, some of them joined him as well. That's a whole. That's a whole other mess. We don't want to get into that.
Yeah,
anyways,
huge mess.
Yeah, that's not this show.
You brought it up, Dick.
Yeah, I was just as a point.
But yeah. So democratically elected by Bush, and then, like the democratically elected leader of Iran was removed by the United States and CIA. We've talked about that a ton of times.
Yeah, we're actually I'm working on a show about the Dulles brothers and how that came, the
Operation Ajax and all that Iranian overthrow stuff went down.
Persian Anglo-Saxon oil company.
So
it was called.
Yeah, if your bubble hasn't been burst about how the United States regime doesn't really have any business talking about democratic elections and
Yeah.
Yada, yada, yada. Just watch here. Just look at them here. Well, don't need to say anything more.
Anyway, so there was a coup in Niger.
Right.
The U.S. is recognizing
Mohamed
But that's the
Bazoon.
president that was being held hostage, right?
by apparently it was the members of the Presidential Guard,
Okay.
according to this article and others that I read that we're going to bring up as well. They went on state television, according to this article, announced the coup and said that the country's constitution has been dissolved and all institutions suspended. So yeah, I mean, kind of willy-nilly, right? Just some coup.
Yeah. But
at the same time, whoever Antony Blinken, Antony Blinken is supporting, I just kind of like wonder what the hell's going on. You see the guy's name, you wonder what the hell's going on.
Well,
right?
You know, yeah, I mean, but you also know it's probably some shady bullshit.
I'm sure. Well, the article goes on to say that the U.S. has drone bases in Niger, of course.
Right.
What are the drones there for? What are they doing? They predator drones?
Duh, dude. Counterterrorism.
Do they have Hellfires?
Yeah. And also, it said here in this article, Niger has had 4 coups since gaining independence from France in 1960.
Well, it turns out that is actually, I believe in some of the later articles that we're going to bring up, a bit of a trend in West Africa.
That's weird.
Mali, don't you remember?
Yeah.
They had a big operation in Mali. Mars, they called it. Because it looks like fucking Mars.
Maybe that's what the pictures of NASA they're sending us.
I don't know. Hey, I'm open to anything.
Right.
But yeah, the Legion had been there, and I don't know if it was exclusively
Obama
the
sent
Legion.
troops to Mali, remember? To fight Ebola.
President Barack Obama has ordered 3,000 U.S. troops to West Africa to aid the fight against Ebola. On Tuesday, he called the outbreak a potential threat to global security after meeting with officials at the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention in Atlanta.
Here's the hard truth. In West Africa, Ebola is now an epidemic of the likes that we have not seen before. It's spiraling out of control. It is getting worse. It's spreading faster and exponentially.
Obama said the chances of outbreak in the U.S. are extremely low, but stressed the urgent need for a global response.
If the outbreak is not stopped now, we could be looking at hundreds of thousands of people infected, with profound political and economic and security implications for all of us.
White House officials say troops will not be providing direct care to Ebola patients. Instead, they'll be involved in erecting new isolation facilities, training healthcare workers, and boosting communications and transportation support.
Well,
anybody remember that shit?
I don't know. Was there really Ebola in Mali?
There was in 2014 cases of Ebola. Ebola.
In Mali.
In Mali.
Oh, it was probably in the green part, not in the Sahara part, where I don't know, a lot of the videos I saw of the terrorists were at, Islamic extremists.
The Ebola virus was not there in those areas?
No, could have been. But I bet it would need, seems like, maybe it's just my bias, but you'd think it would need more of like a jungle environment. Anyway, we apparently have 1,000 U.S. troops in Niger anyway. So what the hell do we have 1,000 troops in Niger for?
On the drone base?
Something tells me that they're not all just like cooks and clean refuelers and shit.
Yeah.
Probably
water purification specialists.
They're probably men with weapons that really know how to use them. Whatever those weapons are. So the last paragraph of this article is really interesting from NPR here. It says, Niger is a landlocked country in the middle of an unstable region, of course, yeah. There have been successive military coups in countries like neighboring Mali that have severed Western ties and where Russia-backed Wagner mercenary group has a significant presence. So there we go. We got, an easy scapegoat, perhaps. Why don't we get on to the Al Jazeera article that we have on the same subject? I know you have trouble with Al Jazeera.
I don't really have trouble with Al Jazeera. But yeah, just real quick.
Your firewall, I thought, or whatever.
No, you're the one with the weird shit. 3,000 U.S. military members to fight Ebola in Africa. CBS News, September 16, 2014.
Well, they fought Ebola really well. I mean, God, wouldn't Ebola have been such a better sell than a respiratory virus?
Well,
Like,
we would
how
have to
you
see
just
a lot
bleed
more
out of
people
all of your
bleeding.
orifices in fucking like 3 days.
I think the problem with that is it's a lot harder to control, right? So,
well, you've never seen the death tolls from Ebola that you have from COVID-19.
it's a true story. Holmes.
Allegedly, you know,
Right.
according to certain numbers and whatnot. Anyway,
Al Jazeera.
Al Jazeera, this is the 1st of August, 2023. European countries begin evacuation of citizens from coup hit Niger. I like how they got hit by a coup. Kind of like certain countries get hit by earthquakes or tsunamis.
It got hit by a coup.
Like it was just, there were no sort of human conditions that might have
Like it's some
had
storm.
something to do with this. Like maybe some Antony Blinken ties, or
No,
maybe Victoria
no CIA
Nuland
or nothing.
Victoria Nuland had been. No, it was just like it was like the Pacific Plate hitting the other one and whatever, you know.
Yeah. It was a
Just happened.
underwater volcano
That's it.
erupted, caused a tsunami.
Yep.
Hit by a coup.
Yeah.
What did he die of? He got hit by a coup.
Yeah.
You know, this coup swept in and just
It started
It's
with
terrible, man.
one psychopathic African guy in camouflage and a beret, and it was all over from there.
it's weird how that's a reoccurring thing over
I
there.
mean, isn't that just some of the most ignorant shit you've heard? And I would expect a little bit better from Al Jazeera. Honestly, I would think that'd come from MSNBC or something like that. But anyway, the article says France has begun the evacuation of hundreds of French and European citizens from Niger days after President Mohamed Bazoum was overthrown by members of his presidential guard. The first of 3 flights to evacuate French and European citizens from Niger lifted off Tuesday evening. Tuesday would have been August 1st. Interesting. 262 people were taken on an Airbus, including a dozen babies. It's nice when they throw the incubator babies
on the ground, on the cold
story.
floor to die. Yeah.
What a heartless
Well,
joke.
yeah, that was like when the Ukrainian war, when Russia first invaded, right? And they were showing all these burned up cars with dead people in them and stuff. And then, of course, next to this one car, around all this carnage, was this pristine little kid's doll. Just not a touch of dirt on it. And it's like, oh, look, children died in this attack by Russia.
I tell you, those Eastern Ukraine children dolls and Saudi passports will never know the magic to that kind of technology. But
Right? Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway. Yeah, so Europeans, French are getting Europeans out, French out. Italy and Spain, they are in on evacuations. A little bit of Germany in there. But apparently the U.S. isn't sounding the alarm. What's his name? You know, what's that really evil one? Kirby? You know, that one evil one that gets on that podium at the White House from time to time, Kirby. And we're sending Ukraine. It's a fight for freedom.
Oh, yeah.
The F-16s, it's going to be great. It's a fight for freedom. Like it's...
This is for the better good of the land.
Yeah.
The greater cause.
That Kirby guy. He said even though they're not evacuating, they are hour to hour assessing the situation.
Okay.
Which is...
Well,
nice.
I doubt anything is really going to happen there except for maybe the U.S. back one of the groups. Whoever's the strongest one that wants to cooperate with the U.S.
Well, here's the thing. Without much more information, what's to say that the U.S. doesn't have a hand behind both
That's true.
groups?
Yeah, that's another show I'm working on is I got a list of like 10 I want to bring out of governments that the CIA it's widely known throughout the world that they helped overthrow, like Iran.
Yeah, absolutely. And Chile, there was Augusta Pinochet.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't even like kill the people in certain occasions. They just like sedated them and then dropped them into the South Pacific.
Oh yeah,
The freezing waters of the South Pacific out of airplanes.
yeah. It's pretty sick.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So, but another possibility here is that perhaps the coups, whatever the hell you want to call them, the aggressors, the ones that overthrew the government,
Coup d'etats.
yeah, whatever the
I don't know.
adjective for them for they is.
We'll ask Jeeves.
A coup d'état, or simply a coup, is an illegal and overt attempt by the military or other government elites to unseat the incumbent leader. So, in this case, I believe they would be referred to simply as the military.
Thanks, Jeeves.
Yep.
It's nice to have a gentleman like you around.
Yeah.
You know?
My pleasure.
Anyways.
So, hopefully it doesn't turn into like a Benghazi situation where there's like a bunch of dead Americans. 'Cause
Right.
that would suck.
Yeah, that would not be good.
But, yeah, it's cute that Kirby guy had mentioned they're open to diplomacy. Right? Because
Right.
the United States government so often is.
But there's also a French military base there.
Right.
And Niger is the world's 7th biggest producer of uranium.
So that's really interesting, right?
Mm-hmm. So
what I was getting to is that perhaps it is some Wagner Russian-backed assholes that are overthrowing the government because it wouldn't be beyond the U.S. government to back the official chair of a government that isn't at all official or democratically elected. If that's the gauge by which we're going to measure official, democratically elected by the people.
That's what our government does.
So maybe the Russians just like, hey, we find the biggest asshole. We get some guys that Victor boot knows flying shit in here. We fuck shit up. We take them out.
Everything is good.
We have gold back currency for you. We have...
You no longer like US dollar?
No.
Good, fuck it.
We get you out. Fuck it.
We did.
You remember stories of cowboy and buckaroo in Wild West America? Well, that's what Africa will be.
Yeah, except for John Wayne is dead.
Yes, there will be new big African one now. Testicles size of coconut.
What was it he said in Running Scared? John Wayne's a pussy.
I don't know.
Anyway. But, yeah, let's move on to this BBC article here.
Yeah, that's kind of what it gets on to. This was August 1st article. Niger coup, why some people want Russia in and France out. The article starts off, since the coup, there has been a war of words between military and the West. Mr. Bazoum was a staunch ally of the West in the fight against militant Islamists and was a strong economic partner as well. That's really weird. I don't necessarily believe that they would have been a staunch ally with Bazoum to fight against Islamic extremists, militant Islamic extremists, judging by the fact that they armed them to take Syrian President Bashar al-Assad out, right?
Right.
Oh.
That was...
That's fucking...
Those were freedom fighters. Those were democracy...
That actually happened, though, right?
Yeah, those were democracy-loving freedom fighters.
Like guys that were high up that started out killing Americans in Iraq.
Yeah.
They ended up getting American weapons to try to take out Bashar al-Assad. Yes, that did happen. There's no denying it. Okay.
Yep.
I just wanted to make sure we're talking here and I'm not crazy and I haven't lost my grip on reality.
No, dude. I'll news to the front. That was real.
So Niger hosts a French military base. Yeah.
Yep. And a U.S. drone base that we talked about.
So how much of the uranium profits do you think stay in Niger as opposed to go to France or something like that?
Well, I already heard, I think only like 18%.
Is that a figure that
I don't know if that's in this article, but that's what I heard on the news.
According to the World Nuclear Association, the Niger government royalty rate is 12% of market value, depending on profitability. In 2020, mining contributed to 1.2% of the national budget.
Well, let's just say this. Niger is home to 24.4 million people, according to this BBC article, where 2 in every 5 live in extreme poverty. Okay, we're not actually talking American poverty. We're talking
like
$2.15 a day or less. So
interesting.
It might be a cup of rice for you and your 5 kids.
Make it last.
Yeah.
Go forward for some roots.
No shit.
Along with everybody else.
Yeah.
So you got to fight for it.
So
that's why it's so easy for these freaking not just extremists. Before it was Islamic extremists, they were just Congo fighters or whatever they call them and stuff, guerrilla war fighters, and
eating khat like they were in what was it, Somalia?
Yeah.
Literally, it's the thing.
And then they
chewing on grass, just high all the time. You don't need a lot of food.
Hey kid, you want some food? All you gotta do is take this gun and shoot some people that we tell you, and then
we'll give you all this grass to eat.
Warm place to. Well, they actually give them like real food and stuff.
Sure, yeah.
We'll give you warm.
I just meant drugs too.
A warm place to eat, warm place to sleep. You'll be all right.
Some money.
You just gotta kill a few people.
That's it.
Do what you're told.
We'll find some ladies for you.
You and your buddies can take turns on her because that's what we do, and then we won't have you cut off her breasts.
I mean,
this has been going on for a long time in Africa. It's messed up, dude.
Yeah, and Africa should have been pulled out of this a long time ago. But
Anywho,
let's just say that all of the aid money wasn't engaged towards developing the place or making anybody's lives better.
Yeah, even though the majority of the world's diamonds and rare jewels come out of Africa.
Right. Blood diamond.
Your cobalt for your electric car.
Your cobalt, your lithium, obviously, as we were just talking about. And in children are a very, very popular option to mine those products, by the way. Mm-hmm. I don't know how the people on the West Coast and East Coast that buy so much of those rare earth metal products are aware of the child labor situation, but
they probably don't care because it's not affecting them or their kids.
Yeah. Shout out to our listeners from there. Another interesting thing about this article is kind of the crux of it was it's talking about business owners and whatnot that are from Niger that say, quote, here's one quote from one: "I want Russia to help with security and food. Russia can supply technology to improve our agriculture." Basic shit. They want basic shit. There's another guy, though, that said, "I don't support the arrival of Russians in this country because they are all Europeans and nobody will help us. I love my country and hope we can live in peace." That sounds like a pretty realistic dude.
Yeah, God bless you, son.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah, good luck.
He's probably, you know what? He's probably just trying to live life as peacefully as he can. He mentioned peace because he's been fucked his entire life by everybody that ever said they're going to help.
Yep. Can't trust them.
Yeah.
It's a shame.
Especially the ones in expensive suits.
You can't trust, you definitely can't trust those ones in expensive suits.
No.
Speaking of some of the shit they just did, the old Biden administration announces a $345 million weapons package for Taiwan. CBS News article by Eleanor Watson from July 28th saying the Biden administration is sending Taiwan a $345 million package of weapons drawn from U.S. stockpiles, the White House announced Friday. That's weird. This is right on the heels of Biden saying that we are running out of ammo and shit.
They're running out of that ammunition, and we're low on it.
Mm-hmm.
And stuff. Apparently not weapons. I don't know.
No.
This marks the first time the U.S. is sending equipment to Taiwan from its own stocks using the Presidential Drawdown Authority. Congress authorized about $1 billion for presidential drawdown packages for Taiwan in the annual defense bill passed last year for the 2023 fiscal year. That's interesting. Weakening our military. We have a show coming up.
Neutering our military, so to speak.
Yeah, where we have a show coming up where we're going to be special. We're going to be talking about that. Neutering our military, and then meanwhile sending tons of money over to Ukraine, over to Taiwan now.
$345 million. I mean,
imagine
there's
how many
a lot of good
Americans
that
could
come
help
from that. Yeah. What I would imagine is that money is getting laundered over there somehow, a lot of it.
Right.
And then a little bit of it's going to the military or however much, maybe the majority of it.
Financial aid.
Financial aid.
Yeah. Quote unquote.
Yeah. And then it's also just sparking a bunch of, I'm sorry, anti-China sentiment. Once again, here's the disclaimer. Not a big fan of China, not a big fan of the CCP, but I really do see just a massive amount of anti-China propaganda that isn't even necessary to a certain extent. It's not really China's fault that our politicians deindustrialized our mainland
country, and sent those
industrialized
jobs.
China. That's not
right.
Our politicians did that. They sold us out. It wasn't the China's like, oh yeah, we'll make you anything.
Sure, yeah, we'll do that. So, yeah, it's funny because Joint Chief Staff Chairman General Mark Milley said earlier this month, quote, "You want to make sure every single day President Xi wakes up and says, 'Today's not that day,' and that decision never comes. That's the whole essence of deterrence."
That dude sounds like a
unquote.
badass. What a badass.
Yeah. Should I have done it more badass? You want to make sure every single day President Xi wakes up and says, "Today's not the day," and that decision never comes. Sorry.
That's the whole essence of deterrence, motherfucker.
Yeah, except he's a fucking turd face.
Yeah, Turd Face McGee.
I don't have any articles to back that up, but
We will. I think I have them. Like I said, we're having a special come up.
Yeah,
about the military this week.
Screw Skid Row. Let's give Taipei $325 million. I wrote a B there. Good thing that we read from the article and not the board.
Right.
We would have reported billion, but that was $325 million.
Right.
All right. So we're going to shift just a little bit here, but the topic is war, for sure.
War drums beating on Taiwan.
This is from antiwar.com. August 1st, 2023. Dave DeCamp. Poland rushes troops to border. Claims Belarusian helicopters violated airspace. Poland on Tuesday said it was rushing more troops to its border with Belarus after accusing Minsk of violating its airspace with military helicopters, a claim Belarusian officials denied. I mean, we're going to get to a little bit of Wagner later. Perhaps there's some getting trigger happy.
A little bit.
Little bit-ish.
Yeah, a little bit
Okay.
later. We'll get to that.
We're going to continue with antiwar.com. According to Reuters, Poland's defense ministry said it was sending, quote, additional forces and resources, including combat helicopters, end quote, to the border. Belarus has accused Poland of making up allegations about helicopters violating its airspace to justify a further buildup on the border. Just seems sort of atypical of a NATO person to build up some sort of manufactured boogeyman that doesn't actually exist just to push. Anyway.
Yeah, hey, remember that time that Russia fired into Poland?
Right. But it was actually Zelensky. Oh,
Oops.
that part. Yeah.
Okay. Anyway.
And then that got brushed under the rug, and now all of a sudden it's fucking Belarus is the problem.
Yeah, because Wagner's there.
After Wagner's there.
Yeah. Weird.
Now, training Belarusian soldiers. Mm-hmm. But we're going to get to Lukashenko here in a minute. Belarusian defense minister said, quote, the statement was not backed up by data from Poland. This is the incursion of their airspace.
Right.
Quote, the Belarusian defense ministry views it in the manner of an old wives' tale and notes there were no border violations by Mi-8 and Mi-24 helicopters, end quote.
Who
Ministry
writes
added.
this shit?
I don't know.
Is that really a quote?
Antiwar.com is pretty good. I mean, I love them. I know
they are
their
pretty
bias
good, but
is
they're
fucking badass.
Yeah, but they are also, I mean, I don't know. Seriously, so the Belarusian defense minister is like, that's an old wives' tale.
No,
That airspace has belonged to us forever.
No, it seems like that is kind of their sense of humor. Remember, what's his name? Sergei Lavrov, the old guy?
Yeah.
The foreign minister of Russia.
Oh, yeah.
They asked him something. Somebody asked him about elections in the U.S. and he was like something like, for all we know, for as far as Russians think, there are no men running for election in U.S. anyway. Like, no,
I guess that could be the shit. But
yeah, seriously, the different sense of humor or whatnot. But
anyways,
so yeah,
so Poland's beefing up their troops on the border.
Belarus denies. I wanted to go to the U.S. News here. More on the denial. U.S. News. This is a Polish gal. Agnieszka Pikulika Wiluchewska.
Nice.
Not really.
Warsaw.
Reuters on U.S. News and World Report. Poland said on Tuesday it was rushing troops to the eastern border. We already
August
established
2nd.
that.
Or August 1st.
Belarusian military denied any such violation, accused NATO member Poland, one of Ukraine's most fervent backers in its conflict with Russia, of making up the accusation to justify a buildup of its troops. That is a plausible theory as far as I can tell. Belarus leader Alexander Lukashenko had earlier taunted Poland over the presence of Russian Wagner mercenaries near their joint border.
Yeah. But
that's interesting.
I like it. But you get down here. Said the Polish military initially denied any border violation had occurred, but later, after consultations, we had to consult our consultants. Said the intrusion took place, quote, at a very low height, hard to intercept by radar, unquote. But luckily, we are the Polish government. We have the best radar. I don't know what's a Polish accent. I don't know what a Pole sounds like. I've never really met one, I don't think. It's a Pole, yeah? Is it? I don't know. What is it? Do you know, Theo? It's a Polish?
Sorry for all the noise there. I was grabbing us a couple beers. No, the Polish is, I don't... We're from Iowa, man. We don't actually have a lot of Polish folks around here.
We're just simple-minded men.
Now, I guess like Detroit or Cleveland or Chicago or something like that. You got...
I mean, I've met Polish ethnic.
Yeah.
But not from Pole with an accent.
Right, but that's where I would expect to meet more. I don't think there were a bunch of Polish folks coming to Iowa, so it's not something that we could probably...
Maybe it was the Germans.
That came here?
Yeah.
Yeah, no shit.
The Polish
Sherlock.
No, that's Irish. What I'm saying. That's why the Poles didn't want to come over. So the Germans got here first.
I don't know about that. Very distasteful joke.
You didn't like it? Anyways.
So we have to remember that the Poles hate Russia.
Yeah.
Like, ethnically.
Yeah, you guys
fucking
think shit's racist here?
Yeah, no, they hate Russians. They fucking hate Russians. Like, their race, their government.
Only good Russians are dead Russian.
Their church. Yeah, they're heavily Catholic in Poland, right?
Oh, yeah. And
Russia has
Catholics at all.
Russia has their own Eastern they're more of Orthodox church, right? We're back to the old wives' tale with this article from U.S. News. That's interesting. Moving on to another antiwar.com. July 23rd. So this is actually going back before July 23rd, 2023. So back before the helicopter incursion and all that, right? Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko claimed on Sunday that members of the Wagner Group who are in Belarus want to go into Poland. Comments that come amid heightened tensions between Warsaw and Minsk. According to the Russian news agency TASS, Lukashenko told Russian President Vladimir Putin that he is, quote, starting to get tense with the Wagner Group because they want to march on Warsaw. It's interesting.
That is interesting.
Maybe they're just wanting to go all Wild West there. Who knows? It's crazy.
It's crazy.
Because the Belarus has typically been very cozy to Russia. Since, it was one of the worst places to be in the Soviet Union and whatnot. They were very loyal to Moscow.
Yeah. Interesting.
Which, it's very close.
Roots run deep, baby.
So, it's interesting. This article states, as well as the next one that we're going to get to, but on Friday, which would have been July 31st, or no, perhaps that would have been July 28th. Wait, rather. Yeah, the 28th. Putin warned Poland that he would treat any attack on Belarus as an attack on Russia. Quote, aggression against Belarus will mean aggression against the Russian Federation, end quote. That's pretty... He told the Russian Security Council. That's a pretty big deal. We will respond to it with all means at our disposal, end quote. So, Belarus, in fact, they're so close that any attack on Belarus is... he could be talking about nuclear weapons by chance. Who knows? Crazy.
Super duper crazy, bud.
So that's a very stern warning from Putin. That, if Poland goes into Belarus at all, it's an attack on Russia, essentially. And you know that Poland's not going to do anything without U.S. approval.
Wars and rumors of wars.
Well, if you're paying attention, that can heighten your cortisol. Right?
Yeah.
Right?
So, yeah. It's pretty wild. A lot of stuff going on.
A lot of discontent being sowed. Obviously, Washington, D.C., the death cult isn't helping the situation at all in any of these places.
Why would they?
But they have a bunch of people convinced that they can't be as evil as they are. So, keep getting away with it.
At this point, dude, I'm just really convinced that our politics are just reality television right now.
That's all it is. Probably just to keep us
divided
and not paying attention to precisely what, I don't know, the Fed is doing and the banks are doing. Or
yeah, Trump's getting arrested apparently. Whatever.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy news. He's been indicted, right? And yeah, we're definitely, I think we've established that we're no like supporters, but even though we did do the thing earlier.
You went to the rally.
Yeah, we went to the rally. He said some awesome stuff. He always says awesome stuff.
Don't they all? Well, not all of them.
Right. But he also does some dumb shit too, like Operation Warp Speed. And I don't know how empowering the pharmaceutical companies at that point in time was the best thing to do.
Yeah, so August 1st, federal January 6th election case. A grand jury indicted Trump on 4 felony counts related to his efforts to overturn the results of the 2020 election.
That's just an absolute crock of shit.
Yeah, following a sweeping Justice Department
with
investigation.
Lawyers?
Led
with
by
lawyers?
Special Counsel Jack Smith. Yeah. It's really weird that he's, it's not like he used his political position to leverage financial gain for his family.
Oh, but he did. That's why he was going after the Bidens with Zelensky on the phone call.
Oh, what?
Just to get rid of political appointments and rig elections.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
No, actually, he was going after somebody that was looking at the Biden crime family laundering fucking money in Ukraine.
Yeah. Which we brought up last year. Well, I'm going to have to do like a revisited episode, updated. We're going to have to do it.
Well, yeah,
on episode 7.
It's pretty interesting how he's actually the only person that's held office that high, which is the only office he's ever held, I believe, right?
Yeah.
But the president of the United States, not actually like he's a complete politician. It's interesting how he's the only one saying that we need to bring an end to this damn thing in Ukraine. Nobody else is talking about that. Nobody else is saying that. He is the only one. Fucking Ted Cruz wants to,
and
Ted Cruz stands with Victoria Nuland to give him all the weapons that we can and keep Russia out.
I've been hearing a lot of Democrats are looking at voting for Trump, supposedly. I don't know if that's true.
It'd be crazy to see. Here's the thing. If we're going to talk about that election, I just want to, my objective call would be that if you want to vote for Trump, you had better start by switching your party affiliation to Republican and caucus for him or primary for him or whatever it is, because he's got enough people, he's got enough boomers in the Republican Party that are fucking gunning for him too.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, like if you listen to talk radio and whatnot, you'll hear all these callers and they're boomers. I'm not trying to rip on boomers, right? But seriously, they're like, Trump, we gotta go for the Florida guy. Because Trump is just unelectable. Unelectable. Well, hold on. Their only reason they're saying that Trump is unelectable is because they're being fucking force-fed and told that. Because the people saying that Trump is unelectable, all right, are people that voted for fucking John McCain and Mitt Romney. So
yeah.
Just to wrap that point around, and we're not saying to do this. We're not making an endorsement on this show. We're probably not going to.
No, we're not going to make an endorsement.
We'll leave doors open. Maybe we do, but doubt it.
I highly doubt it, too.
Highly doubt it.
Vote for whoever you want to. Don't vote at all. I don't care.
But just saying that if you really think that Trump is the guy, It's not just Democrats that are out to get him. It's fucking Republicans
No,
too.
that's true, yeah.
And
they were from the get-go as well. I mean,
you bet.
Like I said, before McCain died, he was like, he's not part of the club. That's why they don't want him in here.
Look at Mitt Romney now. When all these, this is no bullshit, because listening to talk radio, it was a big day. It was like Hunter Biden hearings. They've got all this fucking proof of IRS tax fraud.
Yeah, all this stuff coming up with Devin Archer.
Well, Devin, I know that's another thing that's happening right now
because we were talking about him a year ago.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy's a real scumbag. Don't think he's some type of hero now.
No,
just
but
because
he's coming all out with it now, right?
Yeah, you know what the mafia calls them?
Snitches,
rats. And they usually cut their fucking heads off and stuff.
Yeah, well,
cut their throats.
Yeah, it's not like he didn't.
But Devin Archer, we said that back in our 2022 episode that the guy defrauded a bunch of freaking Native American reservations and stuff. Like he was on trial for that.
Yeah.
Like he has no honor. Don't think he's some type of saint now just because he's turning on his buddies. He's rolling over on them, right? His back was up against the corner,
right? Yeah.
I read. If you can go out and read some of the messages, allegedly that was between him and Hunter.
Well, I think that he probably got to a point where he thought, okay, they're going to come for me before they go for Hunter or Joe Biden. So I have to come out with it first.
They were looking at him, yeah.
That's the only thing that would say
he was getting pressure, and he was asking Hunter for help, and he's like, "You're part of our family, and these are the things that happen to our family, bro."
Seriously?
Yeah. I'm
goodness.
Paraphrasing, but essentially it was some bullshit like that.
Like if somebody says that to you, like, yeah, I'm gonna fucking
and
protect
Devin
myself.
Archer's all like, "I'm depressed," and he's just like, "These things happen, man." Surprised he didn't tell him, well, you know what I do for depression?
Crack. And hookers.
And hookers. It helps every time.
Till I wake up and then I just start all over again.
Yep. So, all right.
My goodness.
Well, I think we should probably wrap this one up.
You think so?
Yeah. Well, we're going to see what happens. More things are on the horizon.
Yeah. I think I do want to say that I do think the charges against Trump are trumped up bullshit.
Oh, yeah.
That are just to derail his presidential campaign.
Yeah. You look at the Mar-a-Lago raid.
He doesn't have my vote. I'm not necessarily going to the caucuses that I just said to do. I'm just saying that's what you're going to have to do.
Yeah, if you...
But they don't want him to run, dude.
They're scared.
Yeah, absolutely. But that could just be a feint, right?
Yeah. Well, what if he gets elected and then he's the one that turns around and is like, "Oh, we need to lock down the country again."
Yeah. What if he's like the QAnon, but it's backwards, and he's like the you dumb motherfuckers,
and then everyone's
lock everything down and throw them all in the fucking FEMA camps.
And then everybody's like, "He is the dictator we thought he was,
the Antichrist."
Yeah, and then we're gonna be like, "Holy shit!" Well, folks, we've told you we were wrong before. We were definitely wrong about that.
But
unless it happens, if it happens now, we can be like, "Hey, go back to our episode of August 2023. We said that Trump was gonna do this."
Anything at that level at this point is fair game, man. I don't know. He was on Shark Tank, dude.
You're fired. He was also his own TV show.
Yeah. Shout out to our friend Rained Out.
Randcast. Yeah.
Talks a lot about what could be coming, what are just possibilities, man. You know, different possibilities that are out there.
Yeah.
But if you like what you're hearing, like, share, subscribe, follow. Please give the old 5-star review,
preferably,
and
follow us on Instagram at Iowa Talk Guys _podcast,
at Iowa Talk Guys on Twitter.
Send us an email, tp@iowatalkguys.com, or
Iowa Talk Guys podcast at protonmail.com. Please,
links are in the description.
Yeah, get a hold of us for what you guys want to hear.
Yeah,
please.
We got some more interviews coming up. We got one coming up with a gentleman from Merch for Liberty. Pretty stoked to see what he has to say.
Yeah, we're gonna
on his little red pill journey, and he
interview him.
Yeah,
we're stoked about that.
Yep. Hopefully, you guys enjoy the interview with the doctor.
Yeah, that was a really good one.
Yeah. Dr. Slater Murphy.
We also do have an interview, tentatively. We don't actually have a date or anything, but it's something that is going to happen. We're going to have a discussion with somebody that came up, that used a particular method of some hydroponic soilless gardening in their backyard that you can do with just water that is in a closed system and adding nutrients.
So yeah, it's going to be really interesting.
Yeah, and then he's also, I believe, going to get into a little bit how he is one of those Democrats that converted to ready to vote for Trump now.
Yeah, interesting. So that's going to be a really good talk. I'm excited for that one.
Really interesting. And then in a September, October time frame, we left the country for one interview with our buddy from Toronto. We're about to leave the country again, but we're going to go to like the opposite hemisphere.
Yeah, we didn't really leave. We just, through the miracles of science.
Well, communication-wise, we did. Haven't you ever been to Epcot, dude?
Yeah, I have, but that was just a place in Florida.
So yeah, I think we got something with one heck of an Aussie lined up.
Yeah. Shout out to Drew from You're Missing the Point
there
podcast. We're really looking forward to our interview with you, buddy. It's going to be awesome.
Big time. Absolutely.
And also, hey, shout out to 643 Conspiracy Podcast. I saw you guys really liked our interview with the doctor. So maybe we can get a collab going on with them sometime in the future. And
always remember, don't eat the yellow cake.
Don't eat the yellow snow.
Don't drink the Kool-Aid.
And don't fall asleep on the railroad tracks.
Yeah. I'm not going to give you too many Erocks on that one, but you're close.
Yeah, all right.
Iowa Talk guys out.
Hi, good night, everybody.